My name is Siti Aina Syamimi binti Syukran. Metric numbers 054467. Okay, introduction for Thomas Aquinas. There are many theories or philosophical streams that colors the world of Western knowledge that are now known as developed countries. Next, development of existing and happening philosophies give a pattern of color to the life of people in the world. Thomas Aquinas' thinking was also influenced by Muslim thought, even though he was a devout Catholic. Thomas Aquinas was a staunch philosopher and theologian. He provided enlightenment on ethics and distinguished between human knowledge and faith. The biography of Thomas Aquinas. His name is Thomas Aquinas, or also known as Thomas di Aquino, which is his Italy name. He was born around years 1235 at Roccasecca, Italy, and his father's name is Lendab, while his mother's name is Theodora. He started his schooling in Benedictine Abbey, one of the famous schools at Monte Cassino, and he studied at University of Naples in years 1236. After that, he continued his studies at Paris under the guidance from Albertus Magnus. And there are a lot of his writing, and one of his writing is Summa Theological. And Thomas Aquinas dying at the age of 50 years old in 1274. After his death, his thought did not fade and continue to be used as a reference nowadays. Next, the view of Thomas Aquinas. First, philosophy and theology are not antitheses, but in fact are two complements that complement one to gain knowledge. Second, human must use two sources to gain knowledge, namely intellect and revelation. Third, explain a relationship between revelation and knowledge, or reality and belief in religion. Fourth, Christian consensus, as Al-Ghazali agrees in Islam, argue that the intellect and creed of revelation have the same purpose. That means two different things but same purpose. And last, philosophy and religion important for human to complete their knowledge.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Wan Aishatul Akila binti Wan Muhammadin, metric number 054482. I will discuss about the doctrine of Aquinas. The doctrine of Aquinas says that God is everywhere. It is the state of everything without being part of its essence. The world was created by the will of God, and God's preservation of the universe and His care for its order is a continuous creation. But if God is the creator of the universe, He is the force that guides the human will. It is not He who created evil. Aquinas sees what Augustine had previously envisioned, that vice is a negative virtue. In other words, that evil is good that has not matured, and God has permitted that existence of evil for the sake of good, but did not reject it. In the writing of Thomas Aquinas, the division of theology into natural and revealed element has its origins. After Aristotle, Aquinas taught that knowledge of God is transmitted in two main ways, naturally and supernaturally. Aquinas emphasized man's ability to understand a certain truth about God by nature alone, while maintaining that human reason is still secondary to the revelation of God, as the Church teaches. Aquinas was careful to distinguish what could be learned from doctrinal tenets by natural reason. Calling the truth gleaned from nature preambles to the articles of faith. That is, the reason may lead to faith, but faith cannot substitute by it. Undoubtedly, Aquinas had great faith in human reasons, or more likely, faith in the reasoning ability of himself and other intellectuals. That's all from me. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nalailatul Kharia binti Alias. My metric number is 054671. Today I will present about biography of John Duns Scotus and two different philosophies between Thomas Aquinas and John Duns Scotus. Biography of John Duns Scotus. John Duns, commonly called Duns Scotus, was the Scottish Catholic priest and Franciscan Friar University professor, philosopher, and theologian. He is one of the three most important philosopher-theologians of Western Europe in the High Middle Age, together with Thomas Aquinas and William of Ockham. Born in 1266 and died in 8 November 1308. John Duns Scotus is a composite name. The Scotus is a nickname identifying him as a Scot during his travel in England and the continent. Duns was his family name and also probably the name of the town. Duns is Bedfordshire, in which he was born and brought up. Scotus began his formal study at Oxford in October 1288 and continued to study there until June 1301. Two different philosophy between Thomas Aquinas and John Duns Scotus. Thomas Aquinas is with the philosophies of his mind before, the way with the argument of the mind is not limited to understanding a good idea, but above it is no good is everything. With the knowledge of aspect or knowledge of goodness, he can direct goodness according to his will. Thus, this will follow what the person knows, what is good and what is not good. And this matter to knowledge of goodness, because in this mind or intellect we can put knowledge and all. So that is what reason exceeds the will. John Duns Scotus, that with his philosophy of will before reason, and his argument is that Scott does not agree. It says that if what Thomas said is true, it means this human being will lose moral responsibility in human being. And this man seems to be false. Therefore, their will must be before reason, because the intellect cannot submit to the will. The intellect cannot force the will. So, the matter is like willing and the moral responsibility of the human being. That's all for today. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Raihanah binti Alwapi, metric number 054593. Now I will continue the presentation of Thomas Aquinas. There is no limit to the difference between Thomas and Scotus in the discussion of free will and intellect to the psychological circle in human being. But it is so broad that it includes God and becomes a dispute between the two, which one is previous and come first, the will of God or intellect, and in it acknowledges. Okay, now we have two different opinions about the free will and the acknowledges. First is Thomas Aquinas and his followers, and then we have Duns Scotus and his followers. The Thomas Aquinas and his followers believe that God does not create accept what is known by his good wisdom. And then we have Duns Scotus and his followers, which is believed that they see in this the definition of the power of God, which is God, when he created the world, did not create it except by his will alone. And then in the bringing about a human action, first, according to Thomas Aquinas, first the human beings have some goal or end in mind when they think about what to do, and then human beings don't act for the sake of acting. There is always something that they are trying to achieve by their actions. Next, they feel attraction or desire for that goal or end, which is their will inclines them toward it. And then human beings will make a final judgment about what to do. Finally, human beings feel enjoyment at their accomplishment or achievement of the end in virtue of the will. In fact, according to Aquinas, God is free to create this world or not, and to create a better or a worse one. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nura Ain Shakirah binti Zaidi, matric number 054545. Philosophy of scholarly. First, in general, towards an attempt to reconcile doctrine with reason. Second, between religion and philosophy, it was established alongside the scholarly movement. And third, another movement that requires people to live a whole life of piety, asceticism, worship, and contemplation, and this movement is known as the Sufi movement. Right. The conclusion of this scholastic philosophy was William Ockham, one of the students of the profanity of schools. His views were calling for the dissolution of scholastic philosophy. His support for the supreme doctrine and his execration in this. He execrated far and his advocacy of the lack of mind from the past. Let us leave the mind aside and believe in what the revelation brought portion of facts. The revelation came to us with the doctrine in the Holy Book, then the Church confirmed it and supported it, so there is no justification for the existence and use of reason. In conclusion, philosophy as understood by Muslim philosophers refers to combinations of dominant meanings. Namely, one refers to all kinds of knowledge about existence, including about man, God, and nature. Thank you.